Started here? All right, so we're going to start off. My name is Jeff Stoddart. Most of you know me as Spirit of 2002. So I'd like to start off by introducing the founder of AngelsWin.com, Chuck Richter.
Thank you all for coming, and Arte Moreno, thank you so much for coming here and being a part of this. I'm parched.
There's supposed to be a beer.
That's later. Arte, as I can speak for the entire group here when I say that what you've put on the field over the years and given us winning teams is something that we really appreciate from a fan standpoint. And it's interesting because Jeff and I were talking earlier, and the same year that I put together AngelsWin.com in 2003, you purchased the Angels. So maybe it's a good omen. So yeah.
No, 3 wasn't that great.
Well, that's when he took over the team.
Oh, that was good.
So I can just speak again for all of us and say that Albert Pujols, C.J. Wilson, Jared Weaver, Torrey Hunter, the guys that you put on the field for us going into 2012 is just amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we're still buzzing even now. I mean, it's been since December what?
Yeah.
So, and I can tell you, and I'm sure you can see by the crowd in the stands for spring training games that you know, they're buzzing as well. So thank you for showing up tonight, and we really appreciate the product that you put on the field for us. And at this time, I'm going to bring up Jeff Stoddart, and we put together a list of questions from our staff of writers, just that we'd like to ask you tonight, and if you do your best to answer them, that would be great.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Hello. All right. So as Chuck mentioned, when the list of writers at AngelsWin.com put together a list of about 437 questions, so we're going to go very quickly if that's okay. Let's see, where do we want to start here? I guess I'll start with number 1. When you were young, did you play baseball, and if so, what was the position that you played?
I did play baseball all the way through high school, and I was a second baseman, and then later I was a first baseman.
Eso.
Not your average. Not good enough to go anywhere past high school.
Well, I don't know. I think you did okay owning a team.
Who were your favorite players as a kid?
I like Roberto Clemente a lot. Played second base. I like Bobby Richardson a lot, or number 1. I'm going way back.
Play for the Yankees.
But I'm one of those fans that like players from every team, so I have special players I like to watch by position.
When you were thinking about buying a Major League Baseball team, Were you interested initially only in the Angels, or were there other teams that you were looking to pursue a purchase of?
Okay, I started in the minor leagues like a lot of the players did. I started with 18 with a bunch of my buddies. We started drinking buddies. We bought a Pioneer League short A team and moved it to Salt Lake. That was in '85, I think, and had it till '93. And then 95, 96, I was one of the original owners of the Diamondbacks. I was a minority partner of the Diamondbacks. And 01, we beat the Yankees in the World Series.
I like this.
So won 3 championships in the minors, and then one with the Diamondbacks. And then in 03, really 02, 03, I really tried to buy the Diamondbacks first, and there were a couple other teams for sale. Florida teams. Montreal was still Montreal, but there were 4 or 5 teams available.
What drew you to the Angels?
A couple of things. There's, I grew up in Arizona, so I used to go to Southern California all the time. Not only just the beach and whatever, but catch ball at that time. Yeah, probably everybody can Google me and figure out how old I am. No. My wife just walked in the back. Hello. But anyway, so I came from the advertising business and really liked the size of the market. I mean, can get in all kinds of arguments about names and whatever, but really the metropolitan, New York's #1 metropolitan area, Los Angeles metro area second largest, and really felt that with some kind of development and marketing that we could start attracting bigger crowds, generating more revenues, and therefore being able to invest in a better product on the field. And not being in a situation where you're always hoping that you're just going to do like a perfect job in your minor league system, but also give us an opportunity to develop the minor league system and also be able to invest in free agents if need be. So a longer story than that, but okay.
All right, good.
Eso.
And speaking of free agents, this offseason, you got the top hitter, you got the top pitcher that were on the market, along with a new catcher and relief pitcher for the team. This compares to the 2004 season, when you also got Vladimir Bartolo Colon, and Guillen for that matter. How would you compare? Escobar, I'm sorry. Yes, that's right. We left them off. How would you compare those 2 off seasons?
Okay. A lot of times you want short answers to long situations. But, obviously, 02 won the championship. 03 by All-Star break. My wife and I purchased the team in late May. By the All-Star break, we were out of the race in 03. In our system, we lacked outfielders and starting pitching. So originally what we went for, they felt that they could make a deal on Guillen, even though had a little bit of a question with temperament. He was a power hitter and also drove in a lot of runs, home runs, drove in runs, and a big arm. And they felt that we could make a deal on Escobar, that Stoneman was very familiar with Escobar. He had been a reliever, felt that he could be a starter, so we started right there. Felt that Escobar wasn't going to be enough. We ended up with Colon. He was on the market. He looked like he was going to sign with White Sox at that time. We ended up really offering an extra year, which didn't work out for us, but he did win the Cy Young. And then really on the 25th hour is when Guerrero came up. The McCourts were getting prepared to do, buy the Dodgers, but they hadn't closed. His brother played for the Dodgers, and they could not make that deal. Baseball was not going to approve it. So Stillman, they called Stillman. Stillman said if you'll match the contract the Dodgers are offering, we can do that. So for us at the time, we brought in 2 very good outfielders, 2 starting pitchers, and really put us in a position to really compete again. And as you know, we made the playoffs in 2004. The last 2 years, we obviously didn't make the playoffs. Last year won 86 games, had 25 lone saves. Got Bill Plunk in here from the register, so he probably can back up all my numbers. He's back there, Tino's back there, so I don't have back bears to start spending all the energy. But, we made a decision to make changes in the front office, just felt that we weren't doing a good enough job in our system that the players that were coming up really weren't as prepared as we needed to be to compete at a championship level. When Jerry came in, we sat down with the baseball people, talked about our needs. We felt that we probably needed a 4 or 5 pitcher, need some kind of power bat, but really, believe it or not, they're sort of focusing on third base. Just left a lot of players on base last year, and then something in the bullpen. And then we didn't feel like we were getting the production catching. So that was what we would call the short list, those 4 positions, and what we could do to try to improve the team from there. The baseball people felt that we should look sort of the menu at catchers and felt that we could make a deal with Colorado. So we sent our young pitcher up there for Chris Hanetta. And then started, at the same time we were going through hitters available, infielders, outfielders, pitching, etc. And sort of with Albert, Jerry had a meeting early on with his agent, so felt it was just sort of the agent sort of shopping around who had interest, but later found out there was a little bit more connections than that. And the other positive thing was his family had been in Anaheim for the All-Star game and really enjoyed being out there, the weather, the environment, etc. And Mike and our baseball people, over a period of time, and our fans built a very good reputation in the baseball world about a good place to come to play. And an American League that potentially could extend its career by not day in, day out being in a situation, especially as he gets older, being in a situation where he could transfer and maybe playing DH more often. So, we're, I guess, sort of kicking the tires. I think they were kicking our tires, we were kicking their tires, but I guess at the 25th hour, I probably felt he was going to go back to the Cardinals. Homegrown Cardinal, been there 11 years, family's a native of Kansas City. He was moved there by his aunt when he was 16. So, we ended up just trying to stay in the game at that time. At the same time, Jerry had dinner with Mike, I think Mike and Carpino, Mike Socha, Carpino, and Jerry, and the agent, and Wilson went to dinner, I think, up in LA. I know they went to dinner in LA. So, just felt that we would try to keep our name in the ring there. So, as we moved along, we kept looking at relievers and saying where we're going to spend the money and where we're going to get the best return. And just my wife and I, winter meetings were going on. I was talking to the agent, so I asked the agent if I could talk to the player, which was Albert. And so with my wife and myself, we talked. We were going to talk about 5 minutes. We ended up talking about 30 or 40 minutes, and really had a great conversation. And his wife was putting the kids together, so she could be on the phone. But really felt that he was going to make a decision quickly, so we sort of positioned ourselves. And I know this is a long answer to a short answer.
Keep going.
Also knew, and Carol and I were here in Phoenix, also knew that CJ was flying in that night, So, you know, we knew we were going to have 2 games going because we had the agent there for Albert, and CJ was personally coming in. Started talking to Carpino and Jerry about how to position them, and they happened to be, I think, John, put your hand up, but I think there were 2 different towers, and everybody was running sort of back and forth. But here we made our deal with Albert. I made the deal with Albert, but you know, at the end of the day, you have to dot all the i's and cross the t's. But that's all the fringe stuff. You know, stuff that's almost. Like anytime you have a MVP type player, they end up with a whole bag of goodies. I always use the excuse like my wife, you know. If you just getting a wife, you get like 3 families. But we made the deal with Albert, started working on all the details with Albert, and that night, you know, about 3, was it? 2 or 3 in the morning, we made a deal with CJ. And we knew both played, they remember. Anyways, both players had better offers from other teams, and we felt that our package was good where they're both coming to play, and I think CJ sort of got a little bit of a win that we already made a deal with Albert. He was very anxious to come home, and you know, ironically, Heron and he played against each other in college. And Heron, Weaver, and CJ are all from the Southern California area. So we felt that that would be, anytime you can get local kids, I think it always helps the family and the relationship. So that's sort of that.
I'm really going to try to make this less of me and more of him. So,
Yeah.
Short question. What was it like for you seeing over 4,000 fans show up to the signing press conference of CJ and Albert?
Well, wild. John told me that early on, he said people were coming at 6 in the morning. It's going to be wild out here. And it looked more like a championship celebration than they did. You know, it's a fun thing for us, and players really enjoyed it. And you know, Weaver and Heron, some of the other players showed up, and Bobby Bridge and some of the coaches showed up. So it was a pretty wild day for us. A lot of press and stuff like that.
One of the things that we like to do on the board a lot is talk to each other about potential trades. What if we got this guy? We do that a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Are you like a lot of us fans at the trading, as the trading deadline nears, where you're kind of away from maybe the other members of the front office and coaching staff? Or do you ever put deals together in your mind or thoughts of people you would like to get and how you would go about making those deals happen?
Are we talking about baseball or are we talking about...
Yeah. Your choice. It's always the dream team.
I think it was 04. No, it was 03 in Chicago. They had the All-Star game, and we were there. Big celebration, obviously, as the Angels winning the championship the year before. So Mike Sosha and his coaches were the coaches for the American League, and put a bunch of players there. I think Garrett won the MVP that year. But I was out on the field, and I think Dusty Baker was on the other side because of the Giants. And we're out there. I was talking to Mike. He said, "Now this is the kind of team I really like." So really looking at the All-Star game. I think, you know, if you're a baseball fan, you always play fantasy baseball and look at the players and look at, you know, who you pitch and how do you pitch them, when you pull them, when do you put them in, you know, what are they throwing, and they, you know, and I always tell people, we always already know what happened yesterday. If you really can tell me what's going to happen tomorrow, we'd be in really good shape. Yeah. It's always interesting. You should have done this yesterday, and I, well, that'd be in the stock market if I could figure out what's going to happen tomorrow.
Okay, good. And as you're going through some of these in your mind, do you ever make suggestions to the folks that you have running your front office on, hey, have you ever thought about this deal?
Yeah, I think, I think that's one of the benefits of ownership. My philosophy has always been, let baseball people make baseball decisions, but I also like to let them make it, all right, you go. But I mean, it didn't look this way this year, but we do have a budget, and we've had really this is our 9th season, so had 8 real good years of really trying to build the organization so we can compete at the highest level. And we were going out pretty good, and we started to plateau a little bit, and just really felt from the financial side needed to make an investment in the team. And so a lot of times you can look at it as just a straight expense of saying, no, it's just spending money, or saying, what we want to do is try to position ourselves to go to the next level or next X period of time. And people a lot of times get mad at me because I'm always trying to look 3, 5, and 7 years in advance from an economic model and looking at players and contracts, etc. And mostly everybody else is on a soundbite. What did you do yesterday? What are you going to do this year, etc. For us to be highly competitive over a long period of time, we have to make investments and decisions that are going to reflect on the organization long term. So.
The last 2 years from a marketing standpoint have been big opportunities for the team. There was the All-Star Game 2 years ago, and then of course last year was the 50th anniversary season. What were the hardest parts for you personally about having those 2 marketing year events, and then kind of the things that occurred on the field where the team maybe didn't produce as well as everybody would hope?
I was Mr. Lobbyist every time we had an owners meeting trying to get baseball people to commit to bring an All-Star game to Southern California, because I just felt that it's important to showcase, not only the Angels, but Southern California, the fans, and the different teams, not only Little League and Pony League and high school teams, and then there's just a whole, not only the big universities, but also have Long Beach State, Fresno State, or Fresno, you can get, not Fresno, but Fullerton. And you just have a lot of really good baseball programs that I just really felt that we should try to showcase the fans, the weather, how much baseball we have. I always say we do play baseball on the West Coast. And thank you, but we have drawn over 3 million 9 years in a row, and we're on our way again for a 10th straight year. But that was really important. I guess from the negative side, we didn't really realize how much Major League came in, and it was their show, and we got to put some things in, but they really controlled the tickets, a lot of the marketing stuff. So it really, we didn't get as many of our fans in the park as we would have liked. But because we have a lot of season ticket holders, a lot of them got an opportunity for them and their families to go. The 50th anniversary, one of the things we tried to do when we came in, I'll tell you, if I'm going to blame anybody, I always say we. When anything good happens, I always say me. That's my political statement. Anyways, 50th anniversary, one of the things we did when we came in is what we're trying to do is put all the little pieces together to show that the Angels have a history. So we started playing before the games, Autry and his ownership, some of the teams, some of the players, some of the divisions, but really show, especially the younger generations, that the Angels do have this long history, 50 years. But as we were building to the 50th year, and I think our people did a very good job of identifying players. Every night we had we call them alumni, but an alumni player come out and throw the first pitch, and they went out and signed, and really tried to integrate a little bit of the past with, what our future is. And so that was a really positive. The negative is when you make an investment on a team and you really believe that you put the pieces together and, we as a team, we don't perform at the level that, obviously the fans expect. That's disappointing because you get invested, you get not only, you buy tickets and et cetera, but you also mostly get invested in the ownership of the team. And when they don't perform, and especially, we had a very good team, but lost a lot of games right late in the game, and some of those things were caused by some inefficiencies, and hopefully we've corrected those. I'll tell you in October.
Thank you.
Okay, between buying the team, changing the name, landing Pujols, landing Wilson, have you accomplished all of your goals in making the Angels the #1 team in Southern California?
No. Yeah, I think it's really hard when you do that. I think, if you win the World Series, you want to win 2, and if you win 2, you want to win 4. But I think it's a building process. We had the president of the Hall of Fame was at the game with me today, and we were talking about and I just was at a meeting and spent 3 days there in Cooperstown. If you really look at baseball and look at the history, and if you look at modern day history, and I'm sure Timmy back there looked at me and plucked with him, what am I going to come up with? But really, the way I view modern day baseball is 1900 on. So this is 2012, so we're somewhere in that 112 years into modern day baseball. And when you're really looking at 8 or 9 year period, you really look at a little bit of a blip on a long scale. So you're going along here, however it's going, and then you get this little blip. And the real quick question is, can we take that little blip and open it up like this so it goes up here and we stay there? So the real objective for me is, obviously I want to win, but to be successful, we need to be able to produce at a very high level over very long periods of time. So whenever anybody ever comes to our house, they know they got to play. And those are the kind of things to me. And I'm really interested, obviously, in the younger generations, for the kids getting an opportunity to come to the ballpark and see some of the best players. Get to see first Major League Baseball. Get to see good players and have part of that experience with their family, whether it's their mom or their dad or their brothers, etc. But all that is very important for us. So, you can go to the marketing stuff, but the branding stuff, and some of the stuff we try to do and be more consistent with that whole thing that we work on 12 months a year.
At the press conference with Albert and CJ, you announced the mayor of Anaheim as one of the VIPs in attendance. Does this signify a solid relationship between the Angels and the city, and will you look to renew the lease in 2016?
You guys aren't paying me enough. I happen to like this mayor. And
Artie for mayor.
President.
I don't think you want me for mayor. Anyways, we have a nice relationship. We had lunch about 3 or 4 weeks ago. He's coming in. He and his wife are coming in next week. We have a lot of our sponsors coming in. So we have a sponsors weekend. And so he and his wife are coming out. We have a barbecue and get to see what we do here, meet a lot of the players and people. So I think that's an important thing. Is that a good political answer?
Yeah.
That was much more than we thought we would get. So, where do you go to read information and stories about the Angels?
I was waiting for the register.
I really look at a mix of information. And anyway, so, he pretty much scanned, I don't know, 4 or 5 newspapers, and Tim and his people put the clips together, so anything that they believe is readable, I get usually about 9 or 10 or 11 in the morning. When we're out here in spring training now, I get them like about 8 in the morning. It must be up real early, but I really do, really all the staff gets clips, and it's really the clips of all the articles that have been written, good or bad. And then I go, obviously, I happen to be on the BAM board, which is baseball, all the media. And so really look at MLB.com, and I look at ESPN.com, the baseball site. I like other sports. The reason I sort of delayed, I was going to be here at 6, I delayed because my alma mater was playing in the Pac-12 championship.
Sorry, Artie.
Just got beat by 2 points. So all my friends kept saying, "Come on, have a beer." I said, "I gotta go talk. I can't talk normally," and then you give me a couple beers. I get real honest. Right? But anyway, so I really do have been.
Give him a beer, give him a beer.
Trust me, I'll be drinking some beer. Yeah, I have a good show in my life. But I do, read blogs and I read the different. It really gives me. A lot of times, the same people are going through the same thing all the time, and you don't really get a mix of information. And then a lot of times, people are reading stuff that they read in the newspaper, and a lot of times you're not getting the information you should be getting. So I probably should have my own, tweet or whatever. Just imagine,
I'll follow.
Twitter.com. That's what, right.
Okay, good.
How we doing?
We're doing great. How are you doing? Are we okay on time for you? Okay. One of the things that we've done on angelswin.com is we put together a list of the top 50 moments in Angels history. And every year after the season, we tend to go through and talk about what happened in the past season and try to identify, is there something that happened that deserves to go on to that list, and if so, what item would we pull off? One of the big debates that we've been having on the board is December 8th, and whether or not we think that the signing of CJ and Albert deserves to make the top 50 moments in Angels history. What are your thoughts on that?
I guess I met my wife in Kansas City, Missouri, and their motto is the show me state. It's one of those deals. So maybe we'll talk about it in October. But I think that over a period of time, you really sort of you can be very optimistic when you make your investment or your signing, whatever. But you have to get production. I mean, there has to be production that's going to help the team, not so much individual stats as much as the performance of the whole team. So, like I said, for me, I probably would wait and say, in October, you say, maybe it should be a top 50.
Let's see, can you tell us what you told Albert when you talked to him on the phone that convinced him to come join the Angels and make them his own?
So, I don't know if it was one thing. I think it's a mix of things, and I think that when we first started talking, as I said earlier, I think it was a little bit more of a menu of what we had to offer. And that's an important thing, as I was saying. Push the community, because he has 4 children and young children, 16 and under, and I think his youngest boy is 2. But to really uproot a family, and the wife was, like I said earlier, was born and raised in Kansas City. To uproot their family and move them west, you went through that. I went through our team and how long Mike and his coaches have been here. our commitment to our system, minor league, major league, really went position by position to show the depth of the organization, our pitching and infield, in the outfielders, and also talked about the two young outfielders, well, obviously Borges and Trout, and some of the young players coming through. And then talked a lot about the environment, weather-wise. Talked about Barney, our field guy, and what kind of field we have. But believe it or not, out of the 30 teams, there's 2 teams that are still playing on turf, Toronto and Tampa. And most players, that's a career shortening proposition to be playing on turf. Weather, I think, is really important because ironically, we play our first 3 games and then we go open Minnesota. So we go from home for 3 days. They send us to Minneapolis for 3 days in the first week of April. And then we go from there to New York and we open New York up. So coming home to the weather is always a relaxing thing. And then fans, that we've drawn, much like Cincinnati, not Cincinnati, but St. Louis, we've drawn 3 million a year and consistently brought fans in to watch. So, and that there's no debt on the team, and economically we're stable enough to make investments into the team and what we're doing.
2 more questions. As you look at the youngsters on the team, what excites you most?
Well, you look when we have a bunch of young players there, so they don't usually get to hear this. I think to me is energy, excitement, opportunity. I think all those, we get a lot of people walking up and say, did you really love Moneyball? And I said, well, my partner used to own some McDonald's. He used to say, great for selling, not so good for eating. Moneyball to me was the fact that it was probably really good to watch this movie, but not, so great as far as when you're looking at talent evaluation and the measurement of, what I call, heart. I know it is for the song, is the love, the love for the game and how someone plays. So a lot of times you can look at statistical analysis on the computer and they got the speed and they got the power and whatever, but really every day are they going to show up and want to play every day. And, it's a real important thing because the way we've tried to design the way we run our games is there's maybe people may only come to that game one time, so they may be visiting or they only have saved up enough money to come to one game. It's like going to Broadway play, and we have to perform when the time you drive into the parking lot and walk in the gates and go to your seat. And those players, if you've invested this money, you've come, you have to give them the best possible product that you can. And a lot of those things you cannot measure from statistical analysis. So, right.
All right, last question. Kind of open-ended. Is there anything else you would like to say to the Angels fans here tonight? Sure.
I thank you very much because I can tell you're very passionate or you wouldn't be here. And I love the opportunity from media now that we have. You can communicate with each other and you can speak your mind and you can talk about your likes and your dislikes and your the dreams and wishes of what your expectations are. And I think that media has really given us the flexibility of that communication. It's not always perfect, obviously, but we don't always hear everything exactly the way you want to hear it. But we're not going to get better unless we get the information. And for us to be able to communicate back with you properly, did you hear that, Bill? Just recently is a lot of times I get interviewed and I feel like someone makes a decision what I'm saying and writes it instead of what I actually said. So I'm not a real happy camper about that one right now. So Bill got to see it about a week ago. But anyway, I think that is a really important thing, but I just love the fact that we have such great fans, and I really shouldn't do this, but I'm going to say, you know, like 4 or 5 of you, have individual questions you'd like to ask me, you know, best size or something like that. But anyway, so what we'll do is, you know, I'll take a few, and I'll let you choose them, or you guys choose 4 or 5 people that they can ask a question, and I'll try to, if I can answer it, I will do it.
Arte, I just
Why don't you
wondered,
stand up and say, where are you from and what's your name?
I'm from Anaheim.
I can tell by your t-shirt.
It still says Angels on it,
That's
right? First of all, thank you and your lovely wife for being here tonight.
I'll bring her up, why don't you start up here and,
Yes.
why don't you guys come up, and Tim, is Jenny back there?
Yes.
Why don't you come up here so we get to introduce everybody? And we'll get the players up here, I think.
Yeah.
This is my wife Carol. This is Elizabeth Carpino.
Hello, originally from Tempe, now
We went from sand to sand.
My name is John Carpino.
Hi, it's Jenny Price. I have been with the Angels. I'm the Senior Director of Special Events, and I have been with the Angels since 1996.
Tim Mead, Vice President Communications, 33rd Street.
How many players do we have out there? Why don't you come on up? I'll let them introduce themselves and where they're from. How long? This guy has a book.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
From Honolulu, Hawaii. This will be my 12th year? 12th year playing? Thank you. Hopefully I can get back out there. I'm Mike Piazza. I'm from Port St. Lucie, Florida, and this is my 4th year with the Angels.
My name is Matt Shoemaker. I'm from Trenton, Michigan. This will be my 5th season with the Angels. I was also with Arkansas last year.
Hi, my name is Fraser Hall from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This will be my 2nd year with the Angels, my first spring training, and I was in short season A last year with the Warm Owls.
My name is Carlos Ramirez, from Tucson, Arizona. I'm a catcher, and I was in the high last year at San Bernardino, California. I'm going to stay coming.
I'm Matt Loy. I'm from Spokane, Washington. Relief pitcher. This is my 4th year in the organization, and feel blessed to be up here in front of you guys. Thank you.
Okay, I'll answer a few questions.
Go ahead. So recently, the Players Association in Major League Baseball made an agreement of changing the playoff format. And in addition to that, one of the conditions was the new ownership of the Houston Astros would move into the AL West. Just wondering what your take is on the new playoff format and the addition of the Astros to the AL West.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite beer?
Anytime.
Free beer.
You know, I think, I think if you're a real traditionalist and they keep adding games, then sometimes you dilute it. Sometimes you're in a situation where you do have a division that has three really good teams, and because they missed by half the game, they don't. And you know, I think we found out last year on the last day of the year where two teams lost and two teams won to go to the playoffs. And the Cardinals obviously ended up winning, being a wild card. But both the Cardinals and Tampa ended up on the last day. And I think with the sudden death one-game playoff, as long as it's not extended too long, you get that. First of all, you get that sudden death feeling of watching a game and knowing at the end of the game that they're moving on. That's A. And B, usually to win that game, you're going to have to throw one of your better pitchers or your best pitcher because there is no tomorrow. And a lot of times the wild card teams, especially with TV and delaying the start of the playoffs, you get a wild card team that has one or two good pitchers, and all of a sudden they are. And so, if you burn up a pitcher or part of your bullpen trying to get to the playoffs, a lot of times the team they're playing is not seen number one. So there's more things around there that have been kicked around, but I would say that, okay? Probably the other thing that you asked me, which I probably can't remember very well, I really don't.
Houston, yeah,
it was being sarcastic.
Let you off the hook.
Yes, very, very political business we're in. I really believe, and I'm not going to. What happens is somebody will take one little statement out of my comment, but I really believe that we should be in a situation where, within reason, you can get in your car and drive to see your competition and your competitive team and be part of being in a situation where, like for you, a lot of you might be able to bring your families, drive here and catch a game or spend a few days. And I think that, when you're talking a couple of time zones, the way it affects us from the fan standpoint, from the television standpoint, from the radio standpoint, there's just a lot of things. But I've tried to be polite about the situation. You're probably going to get me in trouble, aren't you?
Nothing leaves this room.
Okay.
Carlotta? Me?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Carlota from Las Vegas. I work for Lotus Broadcasting. Yesterday we booted the Yankees, and now we are the official Angels broadcast partners in Las Vegas. Yeah. Everybody knows I'm a huge fan, so they were showing me the contract and running around my office like, we're Angels now. So. Greatest gift I ever gave myself was quitting smoking. What is the greatest gift you have ever given yourself?
Let her blow your wife.
Anybody have any questions for the players? Yes, sir.
How much influence did it have being a Latino owner in landing Albert?
Well, I think objectively, there should be 30 or 29 other teams that would love to have a player like Albert. So, and I think that, as you're going through the process, what your needs are, and who do you have signed and who's already in that position. I think you go through that process, but you would like to think that you're looking at objectivity of what that player is going to mean to the team, instead of just saying, you know, the owner likes this guy. It's just, I think anytime that happens, I have the whole, for management, I have the whole plumber theory. You know, all you need to do is be a plumber, it goes downhill, and I feel that way about management. So you let them make the decision, you have someone to blame. I'm being sarcastic about this.
2 more questions.
Yes, sir.
Artie, on behalf of all the fans here, I just want to
Where
thank
are
you.
you from in here?
I'm Dave Snyder, I'm from San Juan Capistrano. I've been on the season ticket holder for many years.
Okay.
On behalf of all of our fans, certainly the people at Angel Women, we want to thank you for what you've done for our team.
How you doing, Artie? My name is Eric Moses Inigus, and I was just wondering if you could be a little candid with us on what you said to Albert about this whole marketing situation that didn't sit well with him.
You know, it was pretty simple. What we did when we were trying to lay out our billboard campaign and marketing campaign, you know, we did what you guys do. We literally Googled Albert Pujols nicknames. And that was one of them. And we put it on there, and we handled it internally and privately with Albert. It was done more of a marketing campaign as it relates to, you know, no, you're the man, not any disrespect to an icon like Stan Musial or anything else like that. So I believe the fans got it, I believe everybody else got it, I believe the media took it to a different level, but that's basically the short story and the long story all in one. So. The process is an interesting one. You know, Artie and I, both P and pseudo creative directors, play around with creative for weeks. We go through the whole office, like what ideas you have. We did it on the Sports Lodge, on Roger Lodge's show in the morning on campaign ideas. We lay them all out and stick them up on the walls and see what looks good and what doesn't look good. And we try narrowing it down. You know, we've had some from my daughter saying OMG to,
I saw that.
yeah. To everything, you know, we just kind of go through the process, keep everybody involved. We believe creatively that ideas come from everyone. And, you know, we try to do a mass appeal, try to, you know, not only go to you, you know, market to you and make you feel proud of the team, but try to activate passive fans and go, oh, okay, you know, it's, you know, let's go to a game, and let's go to 2 games, let's go to 4 games, and then build it from there. So the process is pretty simple, but you know, it's time consuming. We take our time. We believe it's real important. That the whole El Hombre thing is, I think it got a little spun out of control, but like I say, we handle it internally.
And Albert was understood, you know, I sat down and talked to him, he's fine about stuff. Love you, Hat. I'm a Vietnam vet, you know, so we saw that all the time. Usually you were shooting at him.
For your service.
Gee, you haven't met him.
I would side with my friend over here in thanking you for
thank you.
committed to winning. My question is, most successful corporations and businesses have a mission statement. What is the Angels' mission statement?
That's a good one. You know, I would always say you want everybody to have fun, right? But at the end of the day, you really have a lot of fun when you're winning. And you don't want to put so much emphasis on winning all the time that, you know, that covers everything else up. But I really, you know, like when Tim said, would you do this? And I said, yeah, I'd love to go see it. I mean, you guys are, you know, involved and I just, to me, if the fans are having a good time and they like the product and they see that we're really working hard to make sure that you're taken care of and that we're trying to win. And I know not everybody agrees with everything we do and how we do it, but as a whole, we continue to get high marks from the fans, and we try to listen. But I appreciate it. Thank you. One more hand back there. Usually when I used to always sit in the back of the class. I didn't want them to call me, but usually like the toughest questions come from the back of the class. Ask you, Rodriguez.
My name is Corey. I'm from Thousand Oaks, California. And my question to you already, once again, thank you for being here. And your years of supporting the team, what's your personal favorite moment? What's your Angels on it?
Oh, boy. I have lots of them. I mean, I'm you know, we had 86 of them last year. I don't know, I think there's a bunch of them, you know, 04 making the playoffs, we had a really good team. 05 we had a great team, we knocked the Yankees out.
Yeah.
We really had a good baseball team, and went to Chicago, really short rest, and flew all night. I won the first game, and then the second game was, you know, anyways, whatever it was, that was a fun year. Really felt there were a few games away. You know, the other, you know, thinking you have a good team and then go in and play somebody like New York or Boston. Tough. In 09, we had a really good, very good team. Swept Boston. Really felt that we had turned the corner. Went to New York and gave one away minimum, and didn't play well the first one, the second one. Go for ball. We still ended up in 6 games, and you know, you get real close to going to the championship, and really felt that we were getting to the place from an organization that we were going to compete at a high level. And you know, Texas was coming pretty hard from behind, and I don't think we were as prepared as we should have been. But you know, it's like I said, there's so many of those things that I enjoy, and you know, sometimes it's really nice to walk around the park and everybody's polite. Sometimes everybody's telling me what they don't like.
All right, thanks everyone.
Bill, I want to know, Bill has, you know,
I'm off duty.
you don't have one question?
I don't have a notebook, I don't have a pen.
But not one question?
Where's the voice recorder?
All right. Okay, well, thank you very much, and